What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the farm. My name's Kevin, and here's my Anatolian livestock guardian dog, Daisy. And we're out here in the goat pasture right now. And I don't know if you guys have been watching the channel for a while. Do you guys know what this is, or do you recognize this spot right here? This is the spot that the dozer left a huge mess. You know, we had a dozer come in last fall, and he came in and pushed and cleared a bunch of trees down. But when he did it, he just kind of pushed the dirt and everything up in here with the trees. So it was a really hard time to get all this burned. And we had 3 total piles, and this one wasn't even the biggest one. I'll walk over here and show you guys the biggest one. But anyways, I worked and worked on this one. I finally got it burnt. I don't know how much money I wasted in diesel trying to get this thing burnt, but we have to get all these burnt because it's so important. The goats see these brush piles, and when they have their babies, the baby goats are just like magnetized to this. And we do have one little baby goat on the ground right now. He's up here with his mama somewhere, and he hides in one of these brush piles, and it's a nightmare. There's been several times I've got up in the morning, and I always go outside in the morning when I get up because we have all this livestock, and if you hear a weird noise, then you usually know that there is a problem. So I woke up. It was last week or so. I woke up early in the morning. I just kept hearing a baby goat, a kid crying and crying. So I come out here, and one of the, they're about 4 months old baby goats was in a brush pile. And I come up here and I got a little closer, and upon further inspection, I seen where this goat was in a, Y of a tree, like a split to where 2 limbs split, and it was hanging upside down. It had one of its legs stuck in there, so I had to climb in there and get it burnt. But this was that brush pile, and this is the biggest one that we had, and you can see here how high that dirt pile is right there compared to the natural ground. This is where he just pushed all the trees and everything up here, logs, the root balls, the stumps, everything. And it took me about a full week coming out here at night, spraying diesel, pushing up all these trees with my backhoe, you know, trying to do it the safest way possible. So I got one more brush pile to do, and that's this one right here. And this one's probably going to be the worst, that brush pile right there. It's right next to the pond, which that's not the problem. The problem is all the dirt that the dozer operator pushed in there. I mean, it is a bad mess. It's going to be hard to keep it going. I'm going to have to stay out here non-stop pushing stuff up. You know, I'm going to have to use a little diesel. I know a lot of people are against using diesel fuel to get fires going, but that's my last resort. I've tried several times using just dry matter and all this and that to get this thing going, and I cannot get it going. Same thing with this one. I had to use a lot of diesel. But I have to do that because these goats get in there. I don't know if you guys can tell, but there's some green leaves up above, and these goats love green leaves, and they will climb up to the top of the brush pile. They'll climb up them logs. You know, I got some old video footage to where one of our young goats, our Taylor Swift little white Kiko goat, climbed about 25 feet up on a log, and if she would have fell, it probably would have killed her for sure. So I'm going to walk back to the shop. I'm going to show you guys what I use to get these fires going. And so far I haven't been real successful, but I've got to get this one burnt because we're like supposed to be getting in a drought period here pretty quick. We're not supposed to have any rain for 2 to 3 weeks. And if I wait another week or so, I probably won't be able to get this thing going because, I mean, I'll be able to get it going, but I won't be able to control it. Everything's going to dry up. And there's other houses around, you know, down the road and stuff. I don't want to cause any forest fires or anything like that because you can tell it's, you know, majorly wooded here in our area. And I've got probably a week to get this thing burned before it gets too dry. So I use a 25-gallon pump to spray diesel on this thing to get it going good and hot. And then I start pushing up all the brush with my backhoe or my tractor until I get a bunch of these logs going real good. And you got to come out here in the middle of the night and just keep them pushing up. You got to keep that hot spot going. So let me get to the shop and I'll show you guys what I use to spray the diesel in there. All right guys, I'm back in the shop and I wanted to show you guys the pump sprayer that I use to spray this diesel on these big brush piles to get the fire going good. And like I said, I know a lot of people is against using fuel, gasoline, diesel, kerosene, stuff like that to get fires going. Diesel is actually the best thing that I found. It burns a lot hotter. It burns longer. You know, gasoline's very, very flammable. The flash point is a lot lower than what diesel is, so it's super dangerous. And it burns so fast that it usually doesn't have time to actually get the logs hot and on fire good. So this is why I use this sprayer here. It has good pressure. It holds 25 gallons. I can usually get a good hot spot in a brush pile going. But the other day, I loaded this thing up because I loaded it in the back of my Toyota Tacoma. I take it down to the local gas station and I fill it up with diesel. But, let's see here. Looky here. This is a gauge that goes right here. But I guess it slid and hit the tailgate and it busted because that is just plastic. Let's see. It's just plastic. And it broke right off. You can see that right there. I had to take a screwdriver and try to get this thing out of there. But anyways, I tried to use a bolt. In the meantime, I put some plumber's tape around it and put a bolt in there, and it still dripped really bad. And when you're next to a fire with one of these things, you do not want any kind of drips or leaks or anything else because, you know, it is flammable. Even though it's not as flammable as gas, it's still dangerous. So I ordered another one on Amazon, got it in. And this one was a bottom mount. It didn't have the back on it like this one mounts. Has a little threaded nipple on the back. This one's on the bottom, so it's actually stuck up like that. Like this. Well, that ain't really how it goes, but it would have worked. But I tightened it too tight and it snapped off. Snapped off and that broke as well. So, no good. And I actually ordered one with a brass nipple on it instead of plastic, but they sent me the plastic one. So I just got back from Tractor Supply and I got one that has a brass nipple on it. So I'm gonna put plenty of plumber's tape on there, try to get this thing put on to where it doesn't drip or leak. And I'm not gonna run to town right this second and fill this thing up with diesel. I'm gonna go try to, I got a couple of 5-gallon pails of diesel. I'm gonna try to get this going, and once I use that up, I'll load this back up in the truck probably tonight and go get some diesel. I'm off work tomorrow, so I can spend hopefully all day pushing it up and trying to maintain it to get this thing burnt, because it's super, super important now that summertime's upon us, even for the big goats and the baby goats. You know, if we wanted to go on vacation for a couple days or leave for a couple days, you know, the goat gets in there and gets stuck. I don't want whoever's going to come watch our animals and feed our animals and all that have to climb in there and try to rescue the goat. And I don't want to do it anymore. And I just don't want to take the chance of one of them getting hurt or killed in that brush pile. So I got to do what I can to try to get this thing burnt. Hopefully it's dried up enough by now that I can get it burning. So I'm going to get this put on here and we'll run out there. And I got some feed sacks here on the ground. Don't mind the other mess, but I'll use that to try to get the fire going good underneath some of the dry logs. And I'll spray this on there and we'll see if we can't get it going. So I got the diesel poured in here. I got like 10 gallons in there. It's not going to be enough to get this whole pile burned, but I wanted to go ahead and empty these, and then when this is empty, I'll load all 3 of them up. I'll go get 35 more gallons and I'll continue. But tonight, the sun's starting to go down already, and the whole reason I'm burning this brush pile is because these little baby goats, the kids, the newborns, like to hide in this brush pile. And I just went and looked, and all the goats are kind of spread out in the woods and in the trees. And I didn't see that little baby, so I do not even want to get close to taking a chance of burning that brush pile with one of the newborns in there. So I'm going to wait in the morning until I know that she comes out and I see her eating off her mama. That way I can kind of get them scared away from that brush pile, because they like to sleep by that pond and stuff. And that's the last thing I want, is to burn up a small kid goat. So first thing in the morning, I'll get up and get around, and we'll go try to make sure all the goats are accounted for, and then we'll try to light this brush pile on fire. So I'll see you in the morning. All right, guys, welcome back. Good morning. It is the next day, and I got goats scattered all over, but what I'm primarily looking for before I get this fire started is this little baby. And yeah, I'm walking on the old burn pile. There was a little bitty baby. She's got a black spot right there. She is right there in the middle. So she's jumping around and everything. So I know she's not in this brush pile. So we're gonna be good to go ahead and light it. Once you get this fire going and you got your tractor and all that going around here, the goats seem to usually stay away. They don't like fire at all, or loud noise or equipment. And I got one goat over here, I'll show you. That's kind of eating on some brush in there, but I'll get her run off. So let me pull the Ranger over here and get on the south side of this pile, and we'll try to get it going. Okay, so normally what I would do is get on the side that the wind's blowing against the brush pile and then start your fire there, because the wind provides a little more oxygen and it just keeps that fire pushing up against your brush pile. But in this case, you guys can see here all these big root balls and these stumps and stuff that he's got pushed up here, and all this dirt. And you know, right now the wind's pretty still, but later in the day as it warms up, it'll start blowing out of the south. Well, over there it's even way worse. So I'm gonna try to get over here kind of in the middle, and because here's the deal, once this starts going, I need to be able to push the tractor up. I need to use the tractor to push all this stuff up together, and it's going to be a little bit difficult with all this stuff in here. I'm going to have to get in here with the backhoe and start tearing these root balls and all that apart. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to climb up here a little bit, use these feed sacks to get a little fire going in here somewhere, and start trying to push this stuff up a little bit. It's going to be difficult, and I think it's going to take a long time to get it done, but I'm going to go ahead and try to get it started. Alright guys, so basically this is what I'm going to be doing until I can get this thing hot enough in the middle. I'm not going to bore you guys with all this, and I want to get the camera out of here because this gets extremely hot and I don't want to damage any of my equipment. But anyways, let me show you guys my little setup one more time. So basically I just got this Finco 25 gallon 12 volt electric pump, 25 gallon tank, and I just got it hooked up to the 12 volt battery on my Ranger. Provides plenty of power, and it's got all these valves and all this stuff on it that I don't really mess with, but you can add a boom if you want to spray your field and stuff like that. But this thing's works pretty great. It's got a nice little pump on there that puts out plenty of pressure. But I got to stay on this thing to try to keep it burning hot enough. I'm gonna have to get some more diesel here in a little bit. And once you get it hot, you just keep pushing up with your tractor, and you got a hot spot built. Push up with your tractor, and then usually it stays hot enough that it gets these big logs and all these root balls and stuff burn up. So anyways, I'm gonna get busy doing this. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for some future updates and see if I get this thing burned or not. It's gonna take a lot of work to get this thing done with all these root balls. I'm super disappointed in the dozer operator that did it this way, but it is what it is, and I gotta get it done because I don't want to lose a goat to this brush pile. So with that being said, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below, and we'll see you next time.